Howdy, howdy, howdy. How y'all doing? Happy Saturday. Happy Sabbath day. I know people probably busy and doing this and doing that. I got some stories for y'all to listen to. And I'm gonna let it play out. And the title says it all. The title says it all. And here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here's story time right here. Let's go. And I have heard these stories. I would say the comments to last, what I got to say. But I want y'all to listen to it and pay close to these stories. Okay? Here we go.
In the late summer of 2023, Louisiana's humid air clung heavily to the small town of St. Martinville. Tucked away deep in the swamps, St. Martinville seemed lost in time, its secrets hidden by the dense forests and murky waters that surrounded it. The town's narrow streets, lined with weathered houses showing signs of wear under the relentless sun, moved at a slow, drowsy pace where everyone thought they knew each other's business, though few knew the whole truth. Aisha Dupree, 28 years old, had lived in St. Martinville for most of her life. She was an attractive woman with soft features and eyes that held a depth of untold stories. Aisha's life hadn't always been rooted here. She was originally from New Orleans, where she had lived until her early 20s. After her mother's sudden passing in a car accident when Aisha was 21, her life took an unexpected turn. With no siblings and an estranged relationship with her father, Aisha was left adrift, unsure of her next steps. It was then that her aunt, Mrs. Loretta, offered her a place in St. Martinville, a small town far removed from the chaos of the city. Mrs. Loretta, now 50, had always been a formidable presence in the Dupree family. A widow and a woman of strong will, she had raised her daughter Tanisha with firm discipline and unwavering love. Taking Aisha in wasn't just an act of family duty. It was her way of giving Aisha a fresh start, a chance to heal in the quiet of the town. Aisha, grateful for the refuge, moved in with her aunt and cousin, hoping to find some peace after the turmoil of losing her mother. She quickly found work as a teacher at the local elementary school, where the children adored her. However, despite her good looks and sharp mind, Aisha struggled with a deep-seated lack of confidence that she couldn't quite shake. Life in St. Martinville had become a routine. She would wake up, take care of Mrs. Loretta, go to school, and then return to a house that, despite being full of family, often felt lonely. Mrs. Loretta's strength had begun to fade over the past few years as cancer slowly eroded the woman she once was. The once formidable matriarch now depended on her daughter and niece for care. Aisha did her best to support her aunt, but the sight of Mrs. Loretta, reduced from a pillar of strength to a frail, sickly figure, was a constant reminder of life's cruel impermanence. Mrs. Loretta, too, felt the shift. She knew her family wasn't as close as it once had been, and she worried about the growing distance between her daughter Tanisha and Aisha. Tanisha, Aisha's cousin and Mrs. Loretta's only child, was just a year younger than Aisha. At 27, Tanisha was as loving and caring as her mother had raised her to be, but she was painfully oblivious to the storm brewing within her own home. 2 years earlier, she had married Desmond Johnson, a man she believed to be her soulmate. Desmond was charming, attentive, and seemingly devoted, but Tanisha didn't see the darker sides of his character. She spent most of her time caring for her ailing mother, pouring her love into a marriage that was slowly unraveling, though she remained blissfully unaware. Desmond Johnson, at 30, was a man who thrived on manipulation. Tall, with a smooth voice and dark eyes that held secrets, Desmond had a way of making people trust him. His criminal past was known in St. Martinville, though people rarely spoke of it openly. Whispers of shady dealings followed him, but Desmond had a knack for making people forget, or at least overlook, the darkness that surrounded him. He was the kind of man who could bend others to his will without them realizing it, and it was this skill that he began to use on Aisha. Aisha had always felt a certain distance between herself and Tanisha, a gap that had widened as they grew older and took different paths. But it wasn't until Desmond entered her life that Aisha began to question everything she thought she knew. Desmond had a way of making her feel seen in a way she hadn't felt in years. He would drop by the house under the guise of checking on Mrs. Loretta or bringing Tanisha something she had forgotten, but his real reason was to see Aisha. Their conversation started innocently enough, small talk about the town or the weather, but there was always an undercurrent of something more, something unspoken. Aisha knew it was wrong, this growing attraction she felt for her cousin's husband, but she couldn't stop herself. Desmond made her feel alive, something she hadn't felt in a long time. He was everything her life wasn't: dangerous, exciting, unpredictable. And though she tried to push those feelings aside, they kept bubbling to the surface, tempting her with the possibility of something different, something more. As the days turned into weeks, the tension between Aisha and Desmond grew. It was subtle at first, a lingering glance, a hand that stayed too long on her arm, a shared smile that held more meaning than it should. Aisha found herself thinking about him constantly, replaying their conversations in her mind, wondering if he felt the same way. She hated herself for it, for betraying her cousin even in her thoughts, but she couldn't deny the pull she felt toward him. What had started as casual visits to check on Mrs. Loretta had subtly evolved into something much more complex. Desmond's charm was impossible to ignore. He had a way of making Aisha feel seen and appreciated in a manner that she hadn't felt in years. It began innocent.
Hold on. Yeah, you see how this story going, don't you? You see how this story is going. You see how this story going. Here we go.
It began innocently enough. Brief conversations in the kitchen while Tanisha was out, sharing coffee in the mornings before the day's responsibilities set in. But with each passing day, those small moments began to carry more weight. Meanwhile, Tanisha, ever trusting, remained blissfully unaware of the growing connection between her husband and her cousin. She was consumed with caring for Mrs. Loretta, who was growing weaker by the day. Tanisha took comfort in knowing that Aisha and Desmond were there to help, never suspecting that their bond was deepening in ways that went beyond mere familial duty. She would often express her gratitude to Aisha for being such a devoted niece, and to Desmond for being the attentive husband she had always dreamed of. Tanisha's blindness to what was happening right under her nose only added to Aisha's guilt. Each time Tanisha thanked her, it felt like a dagger twisting in her chest.
I know it did.
One evening, after another long day of caring for Mrs. Loretta, Aisha and Desmond found themselves alone in the kitchen. The air was thick with humidity, and the silence between them was charged with unspoken words. Desmond leaned against the counter, his eyes locked on Aisha as she tried to busy herself with the dishes. But she could feel his gaze, could feel the magnetic pull between them intensifying.
Chicago.
Finally, unable to take the silence any longer, Aisha turned to face him, her heart pounding in her chest. Desmond stepped closer, his voice low and serious as he spoke. Aisha, you know I care about you, right? You've been there for me, for Tanisha, for Mrs. Loretta. I don't know what we would have done without you. Aisha's breath caught in her throat. She knew where this was headed, and every fiber of her being screamed at her to stop it, to walk away. But she couldn't move, couldn't break the spell that Desmond had cast over her. Before she could...
I'm going to stop right there. Ladies, what would you do if you was in that situation? What would you do? Respect C. Vipers, Shawanda Williams, anybody else that comes to the chat? Ladies, what would you do in that situation? What would you do in that situation? Let me know.
Respond. Desmond reached out, his hand brushing against her arm. It was a small gesture, but it sent a jolt of electricity through her. He moved closer still, his voice dropping to a whisper. You mean more to me than you know, Aisha. I've been trying to fight it, but I can't deny what I feel for you. Aisha felt her resolve shatter. She knew this was wrong, knew she was betraying her cousin, but the intensity of Desmond's words and the warmth of his touch overwhelmed her. For a moment, she allowed herself to imagine a different life, one where she could give in to the feelings that had been building between them, the weight of her responsibilities, the suffocating routine of her life. It all seemed to fade away in that instant. As Aisha lay in bed that night, the events of the day replayed in her mind. She couldn't deny the attraction she felt for Desmond, but the guilt was overwhelming. She had almost crossed a line that she could never come back from, and the thought terrified her. But despite the fear, she couldn't shake the image of Desmond from her mind, couldn't ignore the way her heart raced whenever he was near. The temptation was there, growing stronger with each passing day, and Aisha knew that her life was teetering on the edge of a decision that could change everything. The weekend that would ignite a firestorm within the Dupree family began innocently enough. It was mid-September, the air in St. Martinville carrying a faint hint of the coming fall. Tanisha, eager for a brief escape from the weight of her responsibilities, had planned a weekend trip to visit a close friend in Baton Rouge. She left on a Friday afternoon, her spirits high as she looked forward to the chance to relax and catch up with her friend. She trusted Desmond completely, believing her husband's assurances that he would take care of everything at home, including checking in on her mother, Mrs. Loretta, who had been under Aisha's diligent care. As Tanisha's car disappeared from view, Desmond's mind shifted to the opportunity that now presented itself. He had been patient, waiting for the right moment to act on the growing tension between him and Aisha. Now, with Tanisha away, the stage was set for him to take the next step. He knew Aisha was conflicted, struggling with the feelings she tried so hard to suppress, but he also sensed that her defenses were weakening. The time had come to push those boundaries further, to see just how far Aisha would go. That evening, Desmond casually suggested to Aisha that they spend some time together since Tanisha was away. He proposed a simple plan, a quiet dinner followed by a drive around town. It was the kind of thing family might do, but the undercurrent of unspoken tension between them made it clear that this was no ordinary evening. Aisha, despite the nagging voice in her head warning her to stay away, agreed. She told herself that it was just dinner, just a drive, nothing more. But deep down, she knew that the lines between right and wrong had already begun to blur. Dinner took place at a small, cozy cafe in town called Bon Amis. Aisha and Desmond sat by the window, the warm glow of the evening sun casting a soft light over their table. They ordered simple dishes. Desmond chose the shrimp po' boy, while Aisha opted for the gumbo, a dish she had always loved. The atmosphere was relaxed on the surface, but beneath it, an unspoken tension simmered. Desmond was attentive throughout the meal, his eyes never leaving Aisha's, and she found herself growing flustered under his intense gaze.
You're not even going to find a bum in the street.
Hold on. Y'all see how this story going, right? She knew she was wrong to do what she got to do to her cousin, but at the same time, he knew he was married and doing it to his wife. So he played on him. Like I said, we're gonna find out. Let's go.
She found herself growing flustered under his intense gaze. After dinner, Desmond suggested she go for that drive. The night was warm, the sky clear, the full moon casting a soft glow over the quiet streets of St. Martinville. Aisha agreed, hoping that the cool night air might help clear her head, help her regain some sense of control. They drove through the familiar streets, the conversation continuing in the same light, easy manner as before. But as they left the town behind, the roads growing darker and more deserted, the atmosphere inside the car grew more intense. Desmond eventually pulled over at a secluded spot near the bayou, a place where the only sounds were the rustling of the trees and the distant call of night birds. He turned off the engine, and for a moment they sat in silence, the only light coming from the moon reflecting off the still waters. Aisha's heart was pounding in her chest, her mind racing with the possibilities of what could happen next. She knew she should leave, that she should say goodnight and go back home, but the pull of Desmond's presence was too strong. Desmond, sensing her hesitation, reached out and gently took her hand in his. The touch was electric, sending a shiver down Aisha's spine. He turned to her, his expression serious, but his eyes filled with a desire that mirrored her own. "Aisha," he said softly, his voice barely above a whisper. "I know this is complicated, but there's something between us. Something real." Aisha tried to speak, to protest, but the words wouldn't come. She knew he was right. The attraction between them had been building for weeks, months even, and now that they were alone, it was impossible to ignore. Desmond leaned in, his hand still holding hers, and before she knew it, his lips were on hers. The kiss was soft at first, hesitant, as if giving her a chance to pull away. But Aisha didn't pull away. Instead, she found herself responding, her own desire overtaking her sense of guilt. What started as a tentative kiss quickly escalated into something far more intense. The passion that had been simmering just below the surface finally erupted, and they found themselves unable to resist the pull any longer. Desmond's hands roamed over Aisha's body, and she responded with equal fervor, the weight of their betrayal momentarily forgotten in the heat of the moment. In the darkness of the car, they crossed a line that they could never uncross, their bodies entwining in a forbidden embrace. When it was over, reality came crashing back down on Aisha with a force that left her breathless. She had just betrayed her cousin in the worst possible way, and the guilt was overwhelming. But alongside that guilt was a sense of satisfaction, a thrill that she couldn't deny. Desmond, sensing her turmoil, tried to comfort her, to reassure her that everything would be all right. But Aisha knew better. They had stepped onto a dangerous path, one that could only lead to more heartache and destruction. In the days that followed, Aisha and Desmond began to meet in secret. Their encounters were brief, stolen moments that were filled with the same dangerous mix of passion and guilt. They knew they were playing with fire, but the excitement of their affair was too intoxicating to resist. They were careful, always choosing their moments wisely, but in a small town like St. Martinville, secrets were hard to keep. Mrs. Loretta, though weakened by her illness, was not blind to the changes in her Aisha's and Desmond's behavior. She had noticed the way Aisha avoided looking at Desmond, the way Desmond seemed to linger in her presence just a little too long. She had tried to talk to Aisha to express her concerns, but Aisha had always waved her off, insisting that everything was fine, that she was just tired from the stress of caring for her. But Mrs. Loretta knew better. She could feel the tension in the air, the unease that had settled over her home like a dark cloud. The discovery happened on a sweltering August afternoon, a day when the heavy Louisiana air felt like it could smother anything beneath it. Tanisha had returned early from work, exhausted and sticky with sweat, hoping to find some relief in the coolness of her home. Desmond had left his phone on the kitchen counter, its screen flashing with an incoming message. Tanisha barely glanced at it, but something in the back of her mind nagged at her, a suspicion she had been suppressing for weeks. The small voice that told her things weren't quite right, that Desmond had been too distant, too secretive lately. Without fully realizing what she was doing, Tanisha picked up his phone. The message was from Aisha, her cousin, and the woman she had trusted most in the world. Tanisha's heart began to pound as she opened the thread, her hands trembling. What she saw turned her blood cold. There it was, a series of messages filled with affection and desire, the kind that no cousin should be exchanging with her husband. The words blurred as tears welled up in her eyes, her worst fears now undeniably confirmed. The betrayal hit her like a blow to the chest, leaving her breathless and dizzy. Desperate and enraged, Tanisha felt her world spinning out of control. She stormed out of the house, her vision clouded by anger and heartbreak, and headed straight for Aisha's home.
Oh no, I got a commercial. You know I don't do commercials. Here we go. Thank you.
In heartbreak, and headed straight for Aisha's home. She didn't care about the neighbors watching, about the gossip that would inevitably follow. She only wanted answers, needed to confront the two people who had torn her life apart. When she arrived, Aisha was in the middle of preparing dinner for Mrs. Loretta, her face pale as she saw the fury etched in Tanisha's features. "What is this?" Tanisha demanded, shoving the phone into Aisha's hands, her voice trembling with a mix of rage and sorrow. Aisha's eyes widened as she saw the messages, her own guilt reflected back at her in the screen's harsh light. She tried to explain, to find some way to justify what had happened, but the words stuck in her throat. Nothing she could say would make this right. Tanisha was beyond listening. She had trusted Aisha like a sister, and this betrayal was too deep, too painful to comprehend. As the confrontation escalated, Desmond arrived, sensing the storm that had been brewing. His attempt to calm Tanisha only fueled her anger. The air in the room crackled with the intensity of emotions that had been held back for too long. Mrs. Loretta, frail and weakened by her illness, struggled to intervene, but her voice was drowned out by the shouting and accusations. It was as if the entire family was unraveling at the seams, every hidden resentment and unspoken word now spilling out, poisoning the air between them. Tanisha's voice broke as she demanded to know how long the affair had been going on, how the people she loved most could betray her so cruelly. Aisha, overwhelmed by shame, could barely meet her cousin's eyes. Desmond, ever the manipulator, tried to shift the blame, to downplay the seriousness of what had happened, but Tanisha saw through his lies. The trust that had once held them together was shattered beyond repair, the pieces too jagged and sharp to ever be put back together. In the tense days after the confrontation, Tanisha withdrew into herself, barely speaking as the weight of betrayal crushed her. The memories of what she'd discovered haunted her, Desmond and Aisha's secret exchanges, the lies that unraveled her life. Consumed by rage and despair, she felt lost and adrift in her emotions. Needing to escape, Tanisha decided to leave town for a few days, without knowing her destination. She packed a bag and drove away from St. Martinville, leaving without a word. Meanwhile, Desmond, seeing her absence, took the opportunity to meet Aisha. Despite her fear and guilt, Aisha couldn't resist him. Desmond suggested they meet in a remote swamp area, a secluded spot they both knew. Aisha agreed, though dread weighed heavily on her. The swamp, a place of secrets, seemed fitting for the ominous meeting. The overcast day matched her mood as she drove there, thoughts of regret and confusion swirling in her mind. How had everything spiraled so out of control? When she arrived, Desmond was already waiting, his unreadable expression unsettling her further. They walked into the swamp, the silence thick with unspoken tension. As they reached a small clearing, Desmond began to talk about their situation and possible ways forward, but his words felt hollow to Aisha. She sensed he was trying to manipulate her, and her anxiety grew. Suddenly, Tanisha appeared from the shadows, her face twisted with anguish and fury. She had followed them, driven by heartbreak. The sight of her cousin and husband together in this secluded place pushed her over the edge. The confrontation was explosive, with Tanisha hurling accusations at them, her pain evident in every word. Desmond tried to calm her, but she was beyond reason. In a fit of desperation, Tanisha stormed to Desmond's car and retrieved the gun he always kept in the glove box. Aisha watched in horror as Tanisha, trembling with rage, pointed the weapon at her, screaming for answers and justice. Desmond and Aisha pleaded with her to calm down, but Tanisha was too far gone. Desmond attempted to approach, hoping to disarm her, but in the chaos, he inadvertently blocked Aisha from Tanisha's view. Tanisha's finger tightened on the trigger, and the gun went off. The sound of gunfire shattered the swamp's silence as Aisha was struck. She staggered, eyes wide with shock, before collapsing. For a moment, everything was still, the air thick with the smell of gunpowder. Desmond, acting on instinct, wrestled the gun from Tanisha, who stood in shock, trembling. Realizing they had crossed a point of no return, Desmond coldly suggested they cover up the crime. The swamp's dark waters seemed the perfect place to hide the body. Numb and broken, Tanisha followed Desmond as they dragged Aisha's lifeless body to a secluded part of the swamp. They weighed her down with stones and watched as the murky water swallowed her. The finality of their actions settled over them, like a suffocating shroud. Tanisha could barely process what she had done, her mind reeling from the enormity of it. After the harrowing events in the swamp, Tanisha and Desmond returned to Mrs. Loretta's home, trying to maintain their composure. They sat down with her, spinning a tale to cover up what had transpired. Desmond explained that he had decided to end things with Aisha, and that during their conversation, Aisha had become upset, storming off into the night. Tanisha, playing the role of the forgiving wife, added that she had chosen to forgive Desmond, but they had no idea where Aisha had gone afterward.
We want to build a YouTube channel.
Hold on. Okay. Yeah, here we go.
Mrs. Loretta, though concerned, listened intently, but a seed of doubt began to grow in her mind. As they departed for their own home, Mrs. Loretta tried to call Aisha repeatedly, but each attempt went straight to voicemail. The absence of her Aisha's voice on the other end of the line only deepened her worry. By the time night fell, and Aisha had still not returned home, Mrs. Loretta's anxiety turned into full-blown panic. This was unlike Aisha. She never stayed out without letting her mother know where she was. Fearing the worst, Mrs. Loretta called the police, reporting her daughter missing and voicing her suspicion that something was seriously wrong. The police responded quickly, understanding the urgency of the situation. Officers arrived at Mrs. Loretta's house to gather details and begin the search for Aisha. Mrs. Loretta insisted that the police question Desmond and Tanisha about the events of that evening. When the police reached out to them, the couple stuck to their story, repeating the same fabricated version they had told Mrs. Loretta. However, Tanisha's recounting of the story was less convincing. Her voice wavered and she stumbled over her words, raising the detective's suspicions. In a private conversation with the police, Mrs. Loretta revealed the recent tension between Aisha and Tanisha, sparked by the affair. She was adamant that Aisha would never disappear without a word, and this conviction led the police to treat the case with even more seriousness. Desmond and Tanisha quickly became the prime suspects in Aisha's disappearance. The police obtained a warrant to search Desmond's home and car. During the search of the vehicle, they found Desmond's gun in the glove compartment. A quick inspection revealed that one bullet was missing from the magazine. The gun was sent for forensic analysis to determine if it had been fired recently, and both Tanisha and Desmond were subjected to gunshot residue tests on their hands and clothing. The results came back incriminating. Traces of gunshot residue were found on Tanisha's hands and clothes. Confronted with the evidence, Tanisha was brought in for further questioning. Initially, she continued to deny any involvement in Aisha's disappearance. However, under pressure, her story began to change. She admitted to taking Desmond's gun from the car and confronting Aisha, but claimed she only fired the weapon into the air to scare her cousin into leaving Desmond alone. She insisted she hadn't killed Aisha, but this confession only deepened the police's suspicions. Investigators then analyzed the cell phone data from Desmond and Tanisha to track their movements on the night Aisha vanished. The location data led them to the remote area of the swamp where the crime had occurred. The police, along with cadaver dogs trained to detect the scent of human remains, searched the swamp thoroughly. After hours of scouring the murky area, the dogs led the officers to a shallow, secluded part of the swamp where Aisha's body had surfaced, weighed down by stones but now partially exposed. With the discovery of Aisha's body, the case against Desmond and Tanisha was solidified. Both were arrested on the spot. The overwhelming evidence and the pressure of impending justice forced them to confess to their crimes. Desmond admitted to helping Tanisha dispose of the body, while Tanisha confessed to shooting Aisha in a moment of uncontrollable rage. The trial was set for October 15th, just weeks after the confession. Mrs. Loretta attended the court proceedings, her heart heavy with grief and a profound sense of betrayal. She watched as the two people she had trusted were brought to justice. The courtroom was tense as the verdict was delivered. Desmond was sentenced to 15 years in prison for his role in covering up Aisha's murder, while Tanisha received a life sentence without the possibility of parole for first-degree murder. As the sentences were read, Mrs. Loretta felt a mixture of sorrow and relief. Justice had been served, but nothing could bring her daughter back. The once close-knit family was shattered beyond repair.
Whoa. Deep, wasn't it? That was deep. Correction.
Is that?
Go
Can
ahead.
I ask you a quick question? Is that like a video where you sped it up, or is that like an audio? Because you could have left that audio normal.
Yeah, I sped it up just in case.
Mm,
Which it looked like I did speed it up in a way.
you did. It's too fast. I couldn't even get. All I got was Aisha, water, and a couple other words. That's it. I was like, what? That thing was flying across my ear like I was like, it ain't me. It's the daggone audio.
Yeah, but I got another one after this. But Aisha is the cousin. So
Okay.
Aisha is the cousin that was married to the guy, and who the mother? She was the mother of Tanisha. That they would take care of. That had cancer. And the question is, who is to blame for all of this?
I don't know. Aisha, Taisha, Laisha, Waisha. Can we have some names that don't sound the same?
But I'm gonna tell you who I think. I'm gonna tell you who I think to blame for all of this.
What?
Tanisha's husband,
Mm,
manipulative.
okay.
But think about it. He manipulated his wife's cousin to sleep with him, although she wanted to do it anyway. But at the same time,
He's a tool, huh? He's a tool.
and then look how he manipulated his wife to try to cover up the crime.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? That's who I see.
Yeah.
And only innocent person in this is Tanisha, mother, and Aisha, aunt. That's the only innocent person in the whole story. See, he was a smooth operator.
No, he
And
was a tool.
yeah, and this is what I don't get right here. Why do people go through with stuff when they know what they're going to do is wrong? I don't understand that. No, they're going to get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Look here. I don't care how lonely I am, how desperate I am. I'm not going to cross my family member. But guess what? We always say blood is
Never say never.
Hey, now blood is blood is not always your blood.
Right.
So
And never say never.
yeah, never say never. But I know I want myself. Cause you see, see, they kept saying she felt guilt,
Mm-hmm.
but she kept doing it. She didn't feel that much guilty.
No, not if she did it over. No. If you do something and you apologize and you feel bad for it, and that's it, right? But if you go do it again, you ain't feel guilty. You did it again because you didn't care.
Yeah.
You got away with it the first time, and you're gonna get away. You're thinking you're gonna get away with it again and again and again, so you're gonna keep doing it till you don't get away with it. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. And just think
Mm-hmm.
that right there that man caused a whole lot of turmoil in that family. Think about it. Loretta, Taisha mom, and Anisha aunt lost her niece and lost her daughter for life.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
Look, and she battling cancer.
Wow. That's sad.
How much worse can it get?
Yeah, that's sad.
See, I understand Tanisha being furious and frustrated, right? I can understand that, right?
Yeah.
And when she knew something, her instinct was telling her something was going on.
Right.
But she ignored it. She ignored it.
Our weather's getting ready to go out of control.
Yeah, it's here too. So, but it's like, why? If you got that instinct, me got that instinct, women got instinct, but we ignore that instinct that something is not right.
Yeah.
And it made me wonder, how many times has he cheated on Tanisha?
Probably more than she thinks. He just didn't get caught as often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't get caught. But Anisha, your aunt took you in like she was your own daughter. And it's kind of like, not only did you portray your cousin, you portrayed your aunt.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry she's gone.
Yeah. It's horrible.
It's horrible. But you let a man get you caught up in something that you shouldn't have been caught up in, and you knew it was wrong. She knew it was wrong.
That's true.
So we don't seriously. I look at it like this.
So Aisha's the one that's in the one that passed?
Anisha, yeah.
Anisha. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I look at this right. Who to blame? I said the husband and Anisha.
That's why sometimes it don't pay to cheat.
Yeah.
It don't pay to do that stuff.
Yeah. I said, who is to blame for Anisha and Tanisha to being where they at? I said her husband and Anisha herself.
Yeah, she should have learned not to let that happen again.
And the other question is for the other, how could that have been avoided? I'll tell you how it could have been avoided. The wife should have listened to her instinct and confronted it right then, instead of not thinking that nothing been going on. And Anisha should have just said, "Hey, I can't do it. This is my cousin," especially if you feel guilty. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it could have been avoided. And two, don't leave two people. You see how they looking at each other and all that stuff. Don't leave them alone. You know what I'm saying? That's manipulation at its best.
Mm-hmm.
And she talked about she couldn't get out of his grasp of his manipulation.
Wow. What an excuse to stay in something.
Mm-hmm. And you notice at the end of it, right? When it was at that at the lake where she got unalive, right?
Mm-hmm.
She said she tried to resist this manipulation, right? She resisted manipulation. Okay, you resisted his manipulation at that time. But what about the other time? We can't play that. I want to get green this time.
That's why I only did it one time. Wait, you can't say words like that. I thought you could. You can at the beginning. Wait, you can't do it at the beginning, but you could do it through your live. I've heard people do it and they monetized.
Yeah, I know them. Yeah, but I look at it like this right here. I know that was BS. She could have stopped it anytime she wanted to, but she didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to. So that's why I say. That's why I say that he. That's why I said him and her. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said both of them.
Yeah.
Because they both had something to do with her getting what she got. Although it was an accident.
Yeah.
See, if she had a law, if Tanisha would have had a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
she wouldn't have got life without.
Right.
Because it would have been a crime of passion.
Right.
So there you go. And I got another one. I'm not going to speed this one up, okay? I'm not going to speed this one up.
Yeah, that's too fast. So, okay, is that from an audio or a video? What is it? What is it from? Or is that something you put together?
A video. A
Okay.
video.
Well, because you're just using the audio, don't go too fast. You could do like 1.25.
Hold on. Let's see.
That 1.5, that's too fast. I have to let you tell me what they were talking about because you already heard it. I didn't hear it.
Okay, here we go. You ready? Here we go. Here's the second. Here's the second one.
Now, let's go.
June 5th, 2007, in the warm and humid heart of New Orleans, where the air was heavy with the scent of jasmine and the city's history seemed to linger on every corner, the Walker family lived a life that many admired. Their home, a grand and historic mansion in the French Quarter, was a symbol of old Southern wealth. The house, with its ornate ironwork balconies and a courtyard filled with ancient oaks and blooming magnolias, felt like a place where time had slowed down, holding on to the secrets of those who called it home. At the center of this family was Michael Walker, a 47-year-old businessman who had built a small empire out of the vibrant culinary culture of the city. Born and raised in New Orleans, Michael was deeply rooted in the local community. His family had been part of the city's elite for generations, and his restaurants,
You have music?
Creole cuisine,
Who?
were beloved by locals
You.
and tourists alike.
Uh-uh.
Michael's charisma and business acumen made
Hold
him
on. Wait,
figure-
pause it for a second. Do you have music like in your StreamYard? I'm saying.
Yeah, but they ain't gonna be able to hear because the music gonna be louder than anything.
No, you could turn it like a little down because you're getting that voice. Even though when you sped it up, it was clear that somebody used the AI, but the AI they used, like even if you sped it up, you could tell it's still an AI. Is what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But have something kind of, like taken away from it. That's why you need to put a little bit of music, just even if it's low. Start it. I didn't mean to cut it off. I don't want you to get copyrights.
Mm.
And then put fair use up.
Yeah. No, hold on. Yeah, good.
Turn it down.
I told you.
Wait, turn it off again. What'd you say?
I told you what I got in my audience.
It has a bar. If you're using the one, the music at the bottom, you could use
Hold on.
that, but you turn it down.
Hold on. Oh yeah, I got it.
There you go. Okay, now you can go ahead. I just don't want you to get
I got
copyright.
started. If I get copyright, just delete it. You heard me?
Huh?
If I get copyright, just delete it.
Right. Go ahead. Sorry for the interruption. I just don't want to get copyrights for it.
Like I said, every time I get copyright, I go delete what I got to delete. I'm just doing something.
Thank you.
Success had only deepened his ties to the city he loved. His restaurants were not just places to eat. They were where people came to experience the soul of New Orleans. Michael's second wife, Lorraine Walker, was a striking woman of 35, known for her beauty and keen sense of style. Originally from Memphis, Tennessee, Lorraine had once been a rising star in the fashion industry, but she had left that world behind when she moved to New Orleans. Here, she had found a new passion in interior design, using her eye for detail to transform historic homes into modern masterpieces while preserving their old-world charm. It was through her work that she had met Michael, and their whirlwind romance had quickly led to marriage. To the outside world, their relationship seemed idyllic. Michael was the successful, handsome businessman, and Lorraine the elegant, devoted wife. But beneath the surface, there were currents that neither could fully control. Eric Walker, Michael's son from his first marriage, was 21 years old and in his final year at Tulane University. He was studying business administration, with plans to join his father's company after graduation. Eric had grown up in the shadow of his father's success, but had always admired him and aspired to follow in his footsteps. His relationship with Lorraine was cordial. She had entered his life when he was already a teenager, and over time, they had developed a bond that went beyond the usual stepmother-stepson dynamic. Eric saw Lorraine as a friend and confidant, someone who understood him in a way that few others did. However, as the months passed, Lorraine began to view Eric with a complexity that troubled her, a mixture of maternal care, admiration, and something more dangerous that she couldn't quite name.
Oh, here we go.
His closest confidant was Angelica Blake, a 40-year-old attorney who had been a friend of Michael's family for years. Angelica was a sharp, no-nonsense woman,
Damn tool.
the best in her field.
Level up your self-improvement game.
Oh, it gets better. Trust me, it gets better.
Michael navigated the legal intricacies of his business, and over time, she had become a trusted advisor to both him and Lorraine. Angelica's frequent visits to the Walker home were a regular part of their lives, and she often found herself mediating minor disputes or offering advice on everything from business decisions to personal matters. But as Lorraine's feelings for Eric began to shift, Angelica noticed subtle changes in her friend: anxiety, restlessness, and a tension that hinted at something more than the usual marital strain. By June of 2007, as the city buzzed with the early warmth of summer, the Walker mansion was filled with an air of tension and unsaid words. While the lively spirit of New Orleans thrived just beyond their doors, inside, a dangerous obsession was starting to grow, one that would soon unravel the lives of everyone within its walls. As the summer days unfolded in New Orleans, the relationship between Lauren Walker and her stepson Eric began to shift in ways that neither of them could have anticipated. What had once been a straightforward, almost familial bond started to evolve into something more complicated. At first, Lauren dismissed her growing awareness of Eric as a passing thought, something she could easily ignore. But as they spent more time together, those thoughts became harder to push aside. Eric was no longer the boy she had watched grow up. He was now a young man, confident, charming, and undeniably attractive. Lauren found herself drawn to him in ways that made her question everything she thought she knew about herself. Their interactions became charged with a subtle yet undeniable tension. It was in the way their conversations lingered on topics that were more personal, more revealing. Lauren started noticing the way Eric would look at her when he thought she wasn't paying attention, the way his gaze seemed to linger just a bit too long. She began to anticipate these moments, to savor the electricity in the air whenever they were alone. What once had been innocent encounters, a shared cup of coffee in the morning, a casual chat about his studies, slowly turned into something more intense. The boundaries between them began to blur, and Lauren found herself crossing lines she had never thought she would. The turning point came one sultry June night when Michael was away on a business trip. The old house in the French Quarter, with its creaking floorboards and whispering walls, felt more isolated than ever. Lauren and Eric were left alone, the silence of the night wrapping around them like a cloak. They started the evening with dinner, but as the hours passed, the atmosphere began to change. Under the influence of wine, their conversations grew deeper, more intimate. They shared stories and secrets, things that had never come up before. The distance between them seemed to disappear, replaced by an unspoken understanding. As the night wore on, the tension between them became almost unbearable. Lauren could feel the heat in Eric's gaze, the way his eyes traced the lines of her face, her body. She knew she should stop this before it went any further, but the pull she felt toward him was too strong. The forbidden nature of their attraction only made it more enticing, more impossible to resist. Finally, it was Eric who made the first move, a hesitant touch, her arm. Lauren's breath caught in her throat.
What you say?
Trash.
And for a moment, they both froze, aware of the line they were about to cross. Then Lauren leaned into him, and the dam that had been holding back their desire broke. Their first kiss was tentative, testing, but it quickly deepened into something more urgent, more desperate. The room around them seemed to fade away as they gave in to the passion that had been building between them. In that moment, nothing else mattered, neither the consequences nor the fact that Michael could call or come home at any moment. All that existed was the two of them, and the overwhelming need to be together. In the days that followed, their secret affair became a constant in their lives. They stole moments whenever they could, during the quiet hours of the early morning or late at night when the house was asleep. The thrill of secrecy only heightened the intensity of their connection. But with that thrill came a growing sense of anxiety. Lauren knew that what they were doing was wrong, that it was a betrayal of everything she had built with Michael. And yet, she couldn't bring herself to stop. The fear of being caught was always in the back of her mind, but it was eclipsed by the overpowering desire she felt for Eric. As their relationship continued, Lauren found herself increasingly torn between her love for Michael and the passion she shared with Eric. The guilt began to eat away at her, but the thought of giving up what she had with Eric seemed impossible. She knew they couldn't keep this up forever, that eventually their secret would come to light. But for now, she chose to live in the moment, savoring the stolen glances, the whispered words, the minutes they spent together in the shadows. Despite the risks, despite the growing tension, Lauren was caught in a web of her own making, unable to resist the temptation that had taken hold of her. As time passed, the secret affair between Lauren and Eric deepened, evolving into a tempest of emotions that soon spiraled beyond her control.
Trash.
Well, this a mess, ain't it? It's a mess, ain't it?
The initial thrill of their clandestine romance gave way to an obsessive need that consumed Lauren's thoughts day and night. Every moment they spent together was filled with passion, yet with each encounter, an unsettling feeling began to take root in Lauren's heart, a fear that Eric's affections were not solely hers to claim. Lauren's suspicions grew as she began to notice the subtle changes in Eric's behavior. He had always been attentive and eager to please, but lately he seemed distracted. There were moments when his phone buzzed with messages, and she would catch a glimpse of a name that sparked a deep-seated jealousy within her. She started to imagine him with other girls, their laughter mingling in the air, their presence erasing the intimacy they shared. The mere thought of another woman capturing Eric's attention drove her to the brink of madness. Lauren's jealousy quickly transformed into a consuming paranoia. She found herself waiting by the window, eyes scanning the street for any sign of Eric, her heart racing at the thought of him being with someone else. On weekends, she would meticulously plan their outings, wanting to ensure they spent every possible moment together. Yet, despite her efforts, the whispers of doubt crept into her mind, casting shadows over their once simple interactions. Each innocent conversation with Eric now felt fraught with hidden meanings, and every smile he shared with someone else lit the fires of jealousy. One evening, while sitting on the porch of their historic mansion, Lauren watched as Eric walked down the street with a group of friends. He laughed easily, his carefree demeanor only intensifying her sense of dread. She felt an irrational urge to confront him, to demand his loyalty, but a part of her hesitated, knowing how fragile their relationship had become. Instead, she found herself retreating to the shadows, watching from afar, a silent witness to the life she desperately wanted to be a part of. Eric, meanwhile, sensed the shift in their dynamic. At first, he had reveled in the excitement of their affair, but now he felt an overwhelming weight pressing down on him. Lauren's obsessive behavior began to suffocate him, and he found himself longing for the freedom he once had. He tried to distance himself, suggesting they take a break to regain some normalcy, but his attempts only fueled Lauren's paranoia. Each time he pulled away, she spiraled further into her obsession, convinced that he was slipping from her grasp. The emotional toll on Lauren grew heavier with each passing day. She became hyper-vigilant, examining every interaction Eric had with friends, scrutinizing every word for hidden meanings. The once charming moments they shared transformed into battlegrounds for her insecurities. She began to invent scenarios in her mind, secret meetings, flirtations, and late-night texts that drove her to the brink of insanity. The fear of losing Eric eclipsed all rational thought, and she became willing to do anything to keep him close. In her desperate state, Lauren made a series of impulsive decisions that shocked her. She started to follow Eric, lurking at a distance, convinced she needed to uncover the truth. She would trail him as he went out with friends, pretending to be out for a casual stroll, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and dread. Each time she spotted him laughing with another girl, a fire ignited within her, a rage fueled by jealousy that she couldn't control. One fateful night, after witnessing Eric share a lingering conversation with a girl she didn't recognize, Lauren reached a breaking point. The image of Eric's smiling face, juxtaposed with the image of another woman at his side, drove her into a frenzy. In that moment, she decided that she could not allow anyone to come between them. She felt an overwhelming urge to act, to assert her presence in his life in a way that left no room for competition. Driven by a wild mix of love and obsession, Lauren resolved to do whatever it took to keep Eric by her side. The depths of her willingness became clearer as she realized that she was prepared to sacrifice everything she had, including her marriage to Michael, to maintain her connection with Eric. She convinced herself that love, even in its most twisted form, justified any action. Little did she know, the path she was choosing was lined with danger and darkness, and the consequences of her obsession would soon unfold in ways she could never have imagined. Feeling increasingly out of control, Lauren was consumed by desperation as she confronted the troubling thoughts invading her mind. Her once thrilling relationship with Eric had morphed into an overwhelming obsession that threatened to unravel her carefully crafted life. Jealousy gnawed at her insides, leading her to believe that her affair could not survive under Michael's unwavering presence. The idea that Michael could discover her infidelity filled her with dread. In her mind, there was only one solution. Michael had to go. In the dark corners of her mind, Lauren began devising a meticulous plan, envisioning a life with Eric free from secrecy and guilt. If Michael simply disappeared, she could assume the role of a devoted partner without the burden of her past. However, such a plan required careful execution. She needed to orchestrate the perfect accident that would leave no trace of foul play. Recognizing she could not execute this alone, Lauren sought the help of Angelica Blake, a skilled attorney and her friend. Angelica, often envious of Lauren's life, possessed a sharp intellect and a simmering ambition that made her susceptible to temptation. Lauren saw the flickers of jealousy in Angelica's eyes, which she decided to exploit. One evening, under the guise of discussing a business venture, Lauren invited Angelica to her lavish home in the French Quarter. The old mansion, with its creaking floorboards and flickering candles, set the stage for their clandestine conversation. As they settled into the dimly lit living room, Lauren carefully broached the subject that had consumed her thoughts. She painted a vivid picture of her troubled marriage, highlighting her feelings of entrapment and suggesting that Michael's absence could be the key to her liberation. Angelica listened intently, her curiosity piqued by Lauren's revelations. With each word, Lauren wove a web of intrigue, hinting at the financial windfall that would follow Michael's departure. She enticed Angelica with the prospect of taking over the family business, transforming it into something greater than it ever was. As the notion of shared power ignited a spark in Angelica, Lauren could see the wheels turning in her friend's mind. The air thickened with tension as the gravity of Lauren's proposition settled between them. Angelica hesitated, her moral compass battling against the intoxicating lure of ambition. But as Lauren laid out the details, appealing to Angelica's desires, she slowly acquiesced to the dangerous game they were about to play. Together, they crafted a detailed plan revolving around Michael's restaurants, known for their lively banquets. Lauren proposed staging a fire during one of the busiest events to create chaos and cover for their actions. It would be a tragic accident that captivated the media, burying any suspicion of Lauren's involvement. The plan was to ignite a small fire that would appear accidental, perhaps by tampering with the kitchen equipment or causing a malfunction with the electrical wiring. Lauren envisioned flames licking the walls, smoke billowing through the air, and panic spreading among guests. She would position herself strategically, pretending to be a victim in need of rescue. As the fire raged, she would stage her own escape, ensuring everyone saw her as an innocent bystander caught in the turmoil. Angelica contributed her legal expertise, pointing out potential pitfalls and ways to cover their tracks. Together, they outlined every detail, from the fire's timing to Lauren's escape routes. They discussed the logistics of ensuring Michael was in the right place at the right time, setting the stage for the tragedy to unfold without a hitch. As the conversation deepened, Lauren felt a mix of exhilaration and fear.
It gets better.
Conversation deepened. Lauren felt a mix of exhilaration and fear. She was stepping into a dark world that held both the promise of liberation and the risk of ruin. On the eve of the banquet, Lauren felt an unsettling calm wash over her. She stood in front of the mirror, taking a moment to study her reflection. Gone were the traces of uncertainty that had plagued her mind. In their place was a steely determination that matched the darkness brewing inside her. With each passing moment, the reality of what she was about to do settled into her bones, becoming a part of her being. She had entered a world of conspiracy and deception, and there was no turning back. The stage was set, and the curtain was about to rise on a tragedy that would alter the course of their lives forever. September 12th, 2007, was a fateful night filled with tension that was reflected in the flickering lights of the historic building that housed Michael's restaurant in the French Quarter. The celebration promised to be grand, filled with laughter, music, and the rich aroma of Creole dishes enticing the senses. Guests, dressed in their finest, eagerly arrived to partake in the evening's festivities. Yet, behind the facade of joy, Lauren and Angelica prepared to execute a plan that would alter everything. As the night unfolded, Lauren felt a mix of exhilaration and dread. They intended to set the fire in the storeroom once the restaurant reached peak capacity, ensuring chaos with minimal scrutiny. A glance toward Angelica, who seemed equally anxious, steeled Lauren for what lay ahead. They planned to use the busy kitchen's cover, where the sizzling pans and clattering dishes would mask their true intentions. When the moment arrived, Lauren slipped away under the pretense of checking preparations in the storeroom. Taking a deep breath, she felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. With trembling hands, she ignited the flames, watching them flicker to life. As she retreated, the acrid smoke began to curl into the air. It was meant to be a small fire, just enough for chaos, but not enough to endanger anyone. However, as Lauren listened to the merriment echoing through the dining area, an unsettling thrill coursed through her veins. The plan quickly unraveled. Instead of behaving as intended, the flames surged, feeding off tightly packed supplies in the storeroom. Panic surged through Lauren as she realized the fire was growing uncontrollably, rapidly consuming the structure. The roar of flames drowned out the party's joyful sounds, replaced by chaos and alarmed screams. As the smoke thickened, Lauren felt desperation rise within her. She turned to escape, but flames blocked her exit, engulfing her in heat and spiraling her panic into terror. Her heart raced as she realized she was now trapped in the inferno of her own making. In that chaos, Michael became aware of the disaster unfolding. As alarms blared, he rushed from the dining room toward the commotion, desperate to find Lauren. Nearby, Eric caught wind of the incident and sprinted toward the restaurant, his heart sinking at the sight of orange glow and smoke billowing into the night sky. Arriving at the scene, he saw firefighters battling the raging flames, but his focus remained on finding Lauren. Inside, the suffocating smoke clouded Lauren's vision as she stumbled through darkness, searching for an escape. Just as her strength waned, she heard Michael's voice calling out, cutting through the chaos like a lifeline. Desperation fueled his search as he pushed through heat and smoke, unaware of her true involvement in this nightmare. Finally, Michael spotted Lauren's semi-conscious form huddled against the wall, struggling to breathe. He rushed to her side, his heart pounding as he lifted her into his arms, determined to save her from the flames. With every ounce of strength, he fought back through smoke and fire, carrying her toward the exit. Outside, chaos reigned as firefighters worked tirelessly to control the blaze, sirens wailing in the background. Eric arrived just in time to see his father emerge from the building, cradling Lauren protectively. Confusion washed over him as he rushed forward, unable to comprehend the full extent of what had transpired. As they pulled Lauren from the burning building, the reality of the situation began to dawn on Michael, but disbelief clouded his thoughts. He looked at his wife, her face smudged with soot. He felt relief that she was alive. Yet the question of how everything had gone so wrong loomed heavily in the air, with answers that would eventually surface. In that moment, as the flames continued to rage behind them, the path they had chosen led to an unforeseen darkness. After the fire, Michael's suspicions began to mount. The charred remains of his restaurant and the chaos of that night haunted him, leading him to believe that the fire was no mere accident. In his quest for answers, he enlisted a private investigator to dig deeper into the incident. As the investigator sifted through the ashes of the truth, a sinister connection emerged. Lauren and her friend Angelica were implicated in the arson. Michael's heart sank further when he learned about Lauren's affair with Eric, a betrayal that cut deeper than he could have imagined. Determined to confront them, Michael arranged a meeting at their home, a place once filled with warmth and laughter, now tainted by deception and despair. The atmosphere was thick with tension as he prepared himself for an emotional showdown. When Lauren and Angelica arrived, the truth unfolded like a dark cloud, engulfing them in an overwhelming wave of accusations and revelations. With each word spoken, Lauren felt the walls closing in around her, realizing that her meticulously crafted plan was disintegrating before her eyes. Desperation clawed at her as emotions spiraled out of control. In a moment of sheer panic, she seized a knife from the kitchen counter, her mind racing with thoughts of self-preservation. Intent on silencing Michael, she lunged at him, but Eric instinctively stepped in front of his father, determined to protect him at any cost. The struggle that ensued was chaotic and brutal, a desperate clash fueled by fear, anger, and betrayal. In the midst of the turmoil, Lauren's frantic movements led to a tragic turn of events. As the knife slipped from her grasp, it found its mark, and she felt a sharp pain blossom within her. The realization of her own mortality washed over her, leaving her breathless as she crumpled to the ground. Michael, shocked and horrified, watched as the life drained from Lauren's eyes. Eric, reeling from the violence that had erupted, tried to comprehend the devastation of what had just occurred. While the struggle unfolded, Angelica seized the opportunity to flee, her heart pounding with panic as she rushed for the door. However, the police, alerted by the earlier chaos, arrived just in time to apprehend her. She was taken into custody on suspicion of orchestrating the arson and the murder, her ambitions and envy now leading her down a dark path of consequences. The case quickly moved to trial, capturing the attention of the public and the media, In the courtroom, the prosecution presented a compelling narrative of deception and betrayal, detailing how Lauren had orchestrated the entire scheme in a desperate attempt to rid herself of Michael. The jury heard testimonies from various witnesses, including those who described Lauren's erratic behavior and emotional state leading up to the incident. Michael, who had acted in self-defense during the struggle with Lauren, found himself at the center of a whirlwind of emotions. As the trial unfolded, he listened to the harrowing details of his wife's infidelity and her calculated plan, feeling the weight of loss and guilt. The defense argued that Michael had no intention of harming Lauren, that his actions were purely instinctual, a desperate response to the chaos she had created. Ultimately, the jury deliberated and reached a verdict. Michael was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter, a ruling that acknowledged the tragic circumstances but also held him responsible for Lauren's death. The jury carefully considered all the circumstances surrounding the incident and recognized that while he had acted to protect himself, the outcome was still a devastating loss. Michael was sentenced to 5 years in prison, a term that would allow him to reflect on the tragic turn of events while offering him the chance for rehabilitation. As the gavel struck, sealing his fate, Michael was left to grapple with the profound impact of the night that had irrevocably changed his life. The burden of guilt, intertwined with the loss of his wife and the betrayal of his son, weighed heavily on his heart. The legal proceedings served as a painful reminder.
Okay. I want to say this right here. I want to say this right quick. I think he shouldn't have got no time. What do you think you knew? I don't think he should have got no time. That's self-defense all day long. That's self-defense all day long. And Laura caused all this chaos on herself. She wasn't loaning for her stepson, who wanted to be young again, and I can fault him for that too. He was old enough; he's already in college, whatever. But she ultimately wanted to be with the son instead of the dad, and that the person that Michael trusted betrayed him too. Yeah, Laura go get a knife and try to unalive Michael because she couldn't face the music. So, like I said, Michael shouldn't have got no time. He should have got no time. That's self-defense all day long. But the jury decided what they decided, and he got 5 years. Think about it, betrayed by your wife. Betrayed by your son, and they try to and your wife tried to take you out. That's sad. That is sad right there. That is very sad. I don't know what you knew with, but she you know, she's probably talking with the mic muted, but
Right. I said that's horrible.
But I want to ask you this question. The question I asked was, I think Michael shouldn't got no time. Michael shouldn't got no time. That's one time I know a person shouldn't got no time for self-defense. When she tried to get him and wind up getting unalive herself. What do you think about it? Should Michael dad got some time?
Sometime, but I don't think he should have got the time that they're giving him, because it was self-defense. She was coming for them. I'm just saying. I mean, she's just a tool, period.
Mm-hmm. And think about it. He got to sit there. Yeah, he gonna sit there and think about how his son, how his wife betrayed him and ruined his business, and how his reputation is ruined now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, I know his son wanted to try to get away from the woman, but his son did what he did. Now, how can he trust his son again around in the female that he get with? That father-son bond and trust is broken. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, I get what you're saying.
So
dang, she couldn't even control herself. She's trash.
Yeah, look at him. She will assess with her husband's son. I think she's something. I'm going to say there's something wrong with her. She needs to go get an evaluation.
Something. She needs something.
Mm-hmm. That was 2 stories of 2 people being manipulative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man and a woman. And how well she manipulated Michael's trusted friend, lawyer, to be with the plan. Wait a minute, how do you? I don't understand it. How do you manipulate somebody like that to go along with your plan?
I don't know. You got 2 weak people. That's how.
Yeah.
That's
And
how.
then his son tried to step in and protect your dad, but you didn't protect your dad when you slept with his wife. The son ain't getting no pass. That don't make up for what he did. You see what I'm saying? You slept with a wife. Right. You turned out, made her so obsessed with you, and she did what. That's why she did what she did.
True.
But then all of a sudden you found out she was smothering you. You want to be free again.
Mm-hmm.
He had a little. I'm put it away. He had a little blame in this too. His Michael's son had a little blame in this too. So.
Oh yeah, he could have controlled it too. He could have said no. The word is no.
Yeah. No.
Yep.
And I look at it like this right here. If you allow yourself to get manipulated by somebody, you are a weak-minded person. You can't stand on your own. You got to make
I can't believe she got jealous because he was talking to girls. That's not your man. You were just using him while you got the daddy. Like, what the heck?
Hey,
she got mad.
Oh, you saw that too, huh? You saw that too, huh?
I heard that and I saw it, but I heard it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
She followed him.
That's crazy. She was stalking him, not following him. She was stalking that boy. Every little thing he was doing, she knew about it because she was stalking him.
Mm-hmm.
She needs help.
Oh, she got help. She gone. She got help. She gone.
I know, but I'm saying she needed help at that time. I'm not talking about after the fact. I'm talking about while she was going through this. She needed help.
She needs some real help.
Wow. That's crazy as heck. She gonna get mad because he's talking to females.
Well, he put it on her too good. He should have put it on too good. He should have slept with her. Bottom line.
No, she's just insecure and can't get nothing better. I guess. I don't know.
But
I mean, she had the daddy. That's enough. Why she gotta have the son too? Like, damn, nasty. Just straight nasty.
But you know how some, you know how some men and women are. A partner is on business trip, going all the time, making money and all that stuff. Ain't no excuse to go with nobody else. Ain't no excuse to sleep with nobody else. And she was a stalker.
Yeah, we know that much.
So how you like what I did tonight? How you like what I did tonight?
I think you could work like do a little edit on it so that way it'll sound your own thing.
Yeah.
That way you ain't got to worry about it. It's yours once you put your flavor to it. You know what I mean? But I like it like that better. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I just stumbled onto this. You know what I'm saying? I just stumbled onto this.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah, I just stumbled onto this. But they get the where I got it from, they got more on it. And
yeah.
And
so they do AI stories is all that is what it is. They turn video, like they take a video and they turn it into their own by making it an AI story.
Yeah, basically.
Which is basically what you could do.
Mm-hmm.
Make it yours. That way you ain't got to sweat it.
Yeah, but I tell you, these 2 stories that that I played, it's kind of like that goes on.
Mhm.
Just real.
No. I'm saying the stories could be real. It's just that he made it into an AI. You know, instead of him talking, he let the AI talk for him.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there's
Definitely a possibility.
there's stories like these
Happen.
happens, and these two stories so happen in Louisiana.
I know. I heard it. I said, is he throwing some shade on Louisiana? So I'm trying to say.
Hey,
It ain't over here. I don't care because it didn't happen here. It happened in the area of voodoo, you know, where they got voodoo and all this other negative stuff over there. So yeah, it is what it is.
yeah, but like this happens just about every day. There's a woman sleeping with her cousin, her sister, her aunt, her mama, man,
Mhm.
and there's a man that manipulated that woman to do it.
Yeah.
And we already know there's some pedos out there that go sleep with the stepson or the stepdaughter.
Man, I was watching a movie today. There's 2 parts of it. I think they're gonna come with a 3rd part. It's on time, Lifetime. You gotta watch it. It's crazy. You know how like they say, you gotta believe the kids at all times. Boy, this girl got some evilness in her.
Oh
She
yeah,
was evil little girl. Oh my God.
oh yeah. That's kids that do have is you cannot do
She said
nothing
her-
with them.
She set up her dad and killed him. She set up her friend and killed her. I was like, what is wrong with you? And it's true stories.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and majority of the Lifetime movie stories, they are taken derived from real stories.
Yeah.
Just like Lord on SVU, they are taking story headlines and turn into TV series.
Yep. That's
And
exactly what it's like, a movie, but I mean it's real story and they turned it into a movie. All they did was put characters in place of the real people. That's all.
yeah, and you see some of them like, oh, okay.
Mhm. Yeah. It's crazy. What are you doing? Why'd you mute? Mhm, 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 mhm. Hello.
I'm here. I just had to
Oh.
move away from the laptop.
Oh, okay. Man, it's roaring outside.
Yeah, it was it was dark outside too earlier.
I'm about to do like a short, not a short, but put a live, like I'm gonna put my phone outside and let it roll. I want to see what kind of stuff I can get on there because this lightning is hitting hard outside right now.
Yeah, it just got through raining outside where we at too, and the clouds are dark, but them clouds I'm not scared of. The clouds I'm scared of the pure white clouds.
Yeah.
Then what you need to be scared of.
No, the ones you need to be scared of, yellow clouds, because that means that's the calm before the storm, the hurricanes and the tornadoes hit.
Yeah, but you hear that thunder a little bit.
Yeah, it's going on. It's having fun outside right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to put a tripod out there, put that phone on there, and see how it goes. I want to see what I see. Like we be missing a lot of stuff when we're inside the house. You know what I mean? I don't want to go out there and stand out there. If my phone get hit, it's gonna get hit by lightning. But
Not you,
yeah, me.
Hey, look, it's better the phone than you.
Yeah, somewhat. I don't want to have to get another one.
But like I said, it's raining here, so it's thundering. So I ain't seen no lightning yet. So hey,
Lightning, thunder is roaring outside. It's just I don't know if it's raining yet because I can't tell if it's raining or not because I'm inside. I'm about to put this phone out there and catch a bunch of good stuff on there though. I missed the good stuff last time.
yeah.
Because it was as soon as I turned around, a big old lightning went straight to the ground. I was like, what the what? I missed it.
But yeah, like I said, we do stories like that. That wasn't too terrible. You know what I'm saying? It kind of told.
It wasn't too
It kind,
bad.
yeah, it kind of told the story how it happened. See what I'm saying?
Right,
And why it happened.
right.
Because I like to tell men and women, if you got something on your mind, you got some suspicion with your significant other, don't hold it in and don't
Right.
ignore it. Don't ignore it.
Don't ignore it. Exactly.
Because you know it, then find out that what your instinct tell you was right. Guess what? You're gonna ball over. You're gonna
Mhm.
ball over, and you're gonna do something you're gonna regret.
You got another story?
I can get another story. I ain't seen it.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm gonna go set this thing up real quick. Go get another one. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
It'll take me but a minute because I already got my phone set up. All I gotta do is turn it on. Give me
Okay.
a second. Hey, Nikki, how are you? Nikki,
Hey,
baby.
do your Dickie, baby. How you doing? Oh, we got some good stories for you. We got some good stories for you. But let's go back up here, set it up, and I'm going to a commercial right quick. While I go back upstairs, I don't know which one I'm gonna play. I'm just gonna play it. Give me time to get back upstairs. See who'll play. I'll play this one. Have myself a minute. Nicole, Nikki, New York Nikki, what's going on? How you been doing? How you been doing? How you been doing? We listen to this stuff and we discussing it. Who is it to blame? How it could And then the next question, how it could been avoided. So, and I'm getting ready, waiting on you knew to come back. She probably set it up already. You knew you back? Guess not. Cause we gotta be careful out here in this world. What this world is going on now, and we gotta love each other no matter what. We gotta love each other no matter what. What's been going on in this world is going to be going on, and I'm getting ready to play this right here. Let me get that other thing set up. Okay, get the other thing set up. Let's see. What did I play last? What did I play? Hold on. Oh, okay. I'll play this. Go back to the comments. Okay. And you know you ready? Here we go. I don't want you to miss it. I went on you knew to get back. So she tell me she back. Yeah, we are not discussing it. We're discussing something that's been going on, and it's only 11 minutes long. So, what are we to do? How are we supposed to love somebody that? How can we tell that somebody love us, truly love us, and would not betray us? That means our significant other, our family members, our friend. We cannot predict what people are going to do and how they're going to do it. We cannot control what people are going to do and how they're going to do it. Only person we can control is ourselves. Only person we can control is ourselves. That's why I said we got to love and respect ourselves so we can see through the BS that be going on around us. And you got to love yourself, because self-love is the best love of all. You got to love yourself. You got to love yourself. Sometimes you got to be selfish with yourself. Respect, Tony. You got to love yourself sometimes. You gotta love yourself sometimes. And if you don't love yourself, who gonna love you? Who gonna love you? Who you gonna love? Who you gonna love? Who you gonna love? Who gonna love you? Who gonna love you? Who gonna love you for you? Who gonna love you for you? You gotta love yourself. Self-love is the best love. You ready? You know? Let me know you're back. Let me know you're back. Because I don't want you to miss nothing. I do not want you to miss nothing, you know. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel, to the Wolfpack channel, Terror Dome, Mondo Black TV. You knew, Together We Break Chains, This Media, Sniper, Tony, and anybody else. Here we go. Y'all ready? I've been waiting on you know to get back. So make sure she don't miss that. What is love? What is love?
I'm back.
Are you back? Ready?
I'm back. Yeah. You should see the lightning. It is getting it good. Like you can see everything that's going on. Hey, Tony, how's it going?
Yeah, here we
Okay,
go.
let's
Ready?
go.
Here we go.
Yes, let's go.
Strangers Online. Nicole Madison Lovell was born on May 3rd, 2002. She was described as a typical fun and happy teenager. Nicole had dealt with several illnesses in her short life. When she was only about 10 months old, she had a liver transplant. The transplant was successful, but Nicole had to take medication every day. When she was about 4 or 5, she was diagnosed with lymphoma. Nicole's illnesses and transplant left her with scars. Nicole was bullied in middle school, which led her to have low self-esteem. Despite everything, Nicole was described as very spunky and sassy. Nicole loved to dance and sing and post videos online. Nicole also began to communicate with strangers online, mostly through the app Kik. On January 27, 2016, Nicole's mom, Tammy Weeks Dowdy, said it was a typical morning. She'd woken up around 4:30 a.m. for work. Before leaving at 6:30, Tammy went into Nicole's room to check on her. Tammy tried opening the door, but realized that Nicole's nightstand had been pushed against her door. When she was able to enter, she noticed that the window had been left open, and Nicole must have snuck out. Tammy said Nicole had never done anything like that before. Nicole's phone and Minion's blanket were the only items missing from her room. Nicole's medication had been left behind, which absolutely terrified Tammy. By 7:15 a.m., Tammy contacted the Blacksburg, Virginia Police Department. Due to Nicole's age and medical condition, the police contacted the FBI and all local law enforcement agencies. The Montgomery County Courthouse assisted with granting search warrants and affidavits. The police learned that Nicole had left her house and snuck out. But it was clear that she hadn't been planning on being gone for a long period of time, since she only had taken her blanket and phone. The police interviewed anyone in Nicole's life she could have had contact with before she left her house. This included her friends, people in the neighborhood, and even convicted sex offenders. While speaking to one of her friends, the police learned about a secret date that Nicole was supposed to have with an older boy whom she met online. Nicole referred to this person as her boyfriend. Tammy was surprised to learn that Nicole had been communicating with an older boy on Kik as she monitored her social media. Tammy said she had put parental control on Nicole's phone. However, Kik is known for being a site where it's easy to delete conversations. Luckily, while searching Nicole's bedroom, police found a piece of paper taped in her closet that listed her social media passwords. The police contacted Kik, hoping to track down the screen name and user information of anyone who had contacted Nicole. On January 29th, the police heard back from Kik. Nicole's last message exchange had been at 12:30 a.m. on January 26th. The user's screen name was Dr_Tombstone. Nicole had been communicating with this person in the days leading up to her disappearance. The user's real name was David Eisenhower. David had been an 18-year-old freshman at Virginia Tech at the time. He was described as a good student who ran cross-country and had been a star of his high school track team. On January 30th, David was brought in for questioning. David was immediately told that the reason he was there was because Nicole was missing. David told the police that he was willing to help. He admitted that he started talking to Nicole around mid-December. He said he had been bored in his dorm room and went to a website called Omegle, a site where you can enter chat rooms anonymously. Nicole had asked David to chat with her on Kik, which he agreed to. David said Nicole had told him that she was 16 or 17. David and Nicole agreed that he would pick her up on January 26th. David said when he arrived, he saw Nicole and believed that she was around 11. He said he immediately drove back to campus alone and went to talk to a friend. The police told David,
Hold on. You don't believe that one doggone bit, do you? I don't believe it.
Nope.
I don't believe it.
that they didn't believe him as Nicole was missing. David was adamant that he drove away alone, but he slipped up and made a comment about how the police should be looking for a body instead of talking to him. Afterward, David was arrested for the abduction of Nicole. The police went back through the statements that David had made about going to see a friend after leaving Nicole's home. David identified his friend as Natalie Keepers, another Virginia Tech freshman. On January 30th, Natalie was interviewed and gave the police permission to search her phone. Natalie told the police that David had gone to meet a girl and found out that she wasn't of legal age. The police downloaded the contents of David and Natalie's phones. They found disturbing messages between them about missing kids, things being traced, and when your life is on the line. Natalie was confronted about the messages between her and David. Natalie had written that she smelled like cleaning supplies and talked about being near a lot of blood and the smell of it. Natalie admitted that Nicole was dead. She said David had forced her to help him move Nicole's body. Natalie claimed that Nicole and David had met once before January 26th at a party. Natalie said that David had been drinking at this party and was worried that he slept with Nicole and gotten her pregnant. Natalie said that Nicole had told David that she wanted to be in a relationship with him. He didn't want that.
I just found this game that completely takes.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Shh. I gotta...
With him. He didn't want that. David was worried about Nicole exposing him, needed to get rid of her. On the night of Nicole's disappearance, Natalie said she and David met at a fast food restaurant. The plan was to pick up Nicole and take her to a secluded location. Natalie said she went back to her dorm room while David went to pick up Nicole. Natalie said David stabbed Nicole in the woods. The next night, he went to Walmart and purchased baby wipes and bleach. Nicole's body was in the trunk, and they drove into North Carolina, which was about an hour and 45 minutes drive from Blacksburg. They also disposed of Nicole's clothing in a McDonald's dumpster.
I'm going to tell y'all. Blacksburg is in West Virginia. Go ahead and let y'all know that out the real. It's in Blacksburg, West Virginia. But then again, it could be in Virginia. I'll let y'all know in a minute. But Blacksburg, an hour away in North Carolina? No, I don't think so.
Natalie told the police that she felt special and loved that David wanted her to help him. David knew about the location in North Carolina from spending time there with his grandparents. Nicole's body was discovered just off the road, going down the side of a cliff. Nicole had been stabbed and tossed down the side of the cliff. No murder weapon has ever been found. A first-degree murder charge was added to David's list of charges. Natalie was charged with concealing a body and being an accessory before the fact of first-degree murder. On February 5th, 2018, David's trial began. The prosecutors focused on how Nicole and David met online and about their secret date. David's defense team blamed the entire plan and murder on Natalie. Nicole's autopsy revealed that she was not pregnant. However, it seemed like David was so worried about her being pregnant and that she would expose him. In David's police interview, he claimed to believe that Nicole was 16 or 17. However, the prosecutors had digital evidence to prove that he knew she was 13, and that David and Nicole had met once before, the night of January 26th. David had threatened to hurt Nicole if she'd ever revealed their relationship. In messages between David and Natalie, they spoke about disposing of Nicole's body and other evidence in different places. A Garmin brand GPS device was located in David's car. David's movements were tracked from Nicole's home to where her body was found. There was blood found in the back passenger seat and on the right rear tire. David's DNA was found under Nicole's fingernails. On the fourth day of the trial, David changed his plea to no contest. This meant that he was not going to admit that he had killed Nicole, but couldn't argue with the evidence. David was sentenced to 50 years in prison, followed by 20 years of probation. Natalie's trial took place on September 17, 2018, 3 months after David was sentenced. The prosecutors argued that Natalie was willing to help David and was as guilty as he was. Natalie's statements from her police interview were included in the trial. Natalie spoke about how David brought out a psychopathic side to her. Natalie also said she got excited about being involved and that she felt like she was part of a special club. It's believed that Natalie was in awe of David. They may have also been in a romantic relationship, or Natalie wanted to be. In text messages, it was clear that Nicole's murder was premeditated. In early January, they wrote about different ideas of killing Nicole. They spoke about swapping Nicole's pills with cyanide caps and about disposing of dead bodies. On January 26th, the night of Nicole's murder, Natalie and David were seen on surveillance at the fast food restaurant, The Cookout. They went to Walmart on January 27th and purchased cleaning supplies. In Natalie's dorm room, the police found Nicole's minion blanket. The defense argued that the police caused a false confession from Natalie. A doctor testified that Natalie struggled with mental health issues. The jury deliberated for about an hour and 15 minutes. Natalie was found guilty of being an accessory before the fact. She was sentenced to 40 years in prison, followed by 10 years of probation. Nicole's family continues to share her story and speaks about the dangers of social media. Natalie's filed an appeal. The Virginia Supreme Court denied it. I had heard about this case before, but didn't know all the details.
You knew. I'll let you speak on the first.
Sorry, say that again.
I let you speak on that first.
Hold on.
Manipulative people. He was a pedo from the beginning, especially when he knows she wasn't of age. Here we go again. Use that mental health as to try to use it as a defense for that.
They always use mental health.
Yeah, try to use a mental health for her defense. But
yeah, that's all the time.
And he did something. I'm putting it like the way he manipulated 2 females.
Mm-hmm.
He manipulated 2 females. I'm going to say he manipulated them.
Yeah.
But he thought he was smart, but he slipped up and said, might well told the police you might well be looking for a body. If you didn't know
that means he knew that she passed on.
Yeah. So you didn't have nothing to do with her and you drove off. How do you know to look for a body?
Right.
And this goes to show you, anybody out there that got children, make sure you monitor their online presence.
Yes.
Her mother even had parental guidance on her social media network. And still, he was still could communicate with her. She wasn't all there. That girl wasn't all there. That young girl wasn't all there.
Mm-mm.
And I'll tell you, people who get picked on in school, whatever, especially young women, I think they could get easily manipulated by men.
Yes.
Because they could be that is the sign of, oh, he loves me, he wants me. And he's not judging me like these other people are.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong,
I don't know. Some people, I don't know. You got a lot of weak people out there in this world where they allow people to control them to a degree.
Yeah.
And to till the time it's too late to move. You know what I'm talking about. When it's too late to move. That's how I feel about that. It's like when it's too late, it's too late. Like you can't change it when they're done with you, when they finish you up, take you away from the earth. There's nothing else you could do. That's it. That's the end of it. So that's why a lot of people, they need to vet who they getting involved with, period.
Mm-hmm. And think about this. He got 50 years and 20 years on probation. She got 40 years and 10 years on probation.
So he's got 20 years or 10. You said 20 years or 10 years?
He got 20 years on probation.
Right. 20 years of probation and 10 years in jail.
50 years.
50 years? He gonna be long gone before them years are over.
Don't forget, she got 40.
Wow.
Natalie, she got 40 years and 10 years on probation.
Wow.
And I put it this way right here. He knew what he was doing. He was a pedo. And especially when he said he knew she was underage. Got scared that she gonna tell somebody. But I believe she wasn't gonna tell nobody anyway. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Because she got picked on in school and she feel like that he loved her. So, and Natalie just told it all that they met one before the 26th, right?
Say that again.
Natalie said they met before the 26th.
They met there before the 26th.
Him and that little girl met before the 26th.
Oh, okay. Him and the little girl.
Yeah.
You know, them names be kind of like slipping. Unless I'm looking at the video, names just kind of just be like flying over my head. And I'm just saying. Okay, so before the 26th, you're saying they met before that.
Yeah.
So that means that prior to the crap that's going on, they already met.
Yeah.
Past before that. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm taking this right here.
That's crazy.
How would he figure that she was pregnant when she wasn't, if it weren't for before that?
So are you saying that they started prior to the
Yep.
date that they're talking about?
Yep.
Oh. You went deep diving up in that one, huh?
I was just listening to what he said.
Yeah, I know.
I just listened to what he said.
I was getting interrupted. My husband, I had to fix my husband something to eat because he fell asleep. So he ended up eating late. And then he came in here and I was like, how was the food? It was good. And then, and he was just talking to me and I was like, wait, hold on. I had to take my headsets off every 5 seconds. Yeah. I didn't hear some of it. So that's why I have to kind of go by what you say. But yeah, definitely, you know, yeah, you did definitely deep dive into that one.
And this is the question I got for everybody. They're gonna watch it. They're gonna watch the replay. Do you think he was a pedo beforehand?
Of course, he didn't just turn like that.
Yeah, especially when he knew her age. He manipulated her.
Yeah, of course. He definitely was before that. Like, how do you just become that? Come on now. Yeah, no.
It just probably didn't come out. You see what I'm saying? And if it did,
it just got caught.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
And Natalie, a freshman, ain't no telling. She probably got picked on when she was in school and all that stuff, and he manipulated her to do other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
See, she took it to the trial. She should have just said, I want her. She was accessory before the fact. She knew what he wanted to do before he did it. Because they both had it. And then it was on looking up stuff, how to, know how to looking up stuff online will get you in trouble if you try to commit a crime. Put it that way.
Right. I agree.
So lesson for the day. Have your own mind.
Stop being controlled.
Yeah. Don't try to be so deeply in love with somebody.
Bet them.
Especially from the beginning. Find out
things about them before you jump into a relationship. And especially if you have kids.
Yeah. And monitor your kids' online presence.
Definitely.
And I got something else too. Hey, my Cali sister, Monique Hill. How you doing?
Hello, Monique. How are you?
Yeah, concentrate on the Cali streets now. We don't want you. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, we saw a comedy scene over there from LA, LA County. This woman went and stole a car, and they chased her. And we thought, everybody was like, "Oh, this guy, this." And I was like, "That's a woman." And then the woman comes out, barely able to run. She got caught, of course, but barely able to run. She was walk fast. What they call it? Speed walking, jog. Speed walking, jog. She was out of breath. If y'all would have seen it, oh my God, it was funny as heck.
Okay, I got something for you. I got two things. I got two other things. I got one after this one. And
Okay.
I stopped you. You ain't supposed to start playing yet. Dang it. Don't you hate that?
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta play with
I
the
hate
foot.
when they have them doggone ads is what I hate. I can't stand them ads.
Yeah, here you go. This ain't gonna be no ad in this one.
Good.
This is the story.
Really quick, I needed to make this video. The scariest shit just happened to me and my daughter while we were out shopping. We went into Walmart and I noticed that there was this group of men. They looked like they may have been Indian, Arabic, they were foreigners. And it was at least 6 of them working together and 2 women with them as well. I guess me and my daughter must have caught their eye. They began following us through Walmart. I'm talking the whole time that we were shopping, they were following us through Walmart. One of them made sure that they stayed as close in close range to me and my daughter the whole time we were in Walmart shopping. They kept making this weird eye contact with us. The energy was just really, really weird. And I told my daughter, I said, you see how they keep following us? She like, yeah. So we kept shopping. We finished up our shopping. We kept shopping. At some point, my daughter said that she was going to grab books or whatever. Now, this was a few minutes before I let her know that I caught the fact that they were following us. When it dawned on me that they were following us, I kept calling out my daughter's name. Sayani, are you okay? Sayani, Sayani, Sayani. And I was doing it intentionally. My daughter kept saying, huh, the whole time we were shopping. We get in line to pay for our stuff. 2 of them stood by the exit entrance on both sides. The other 2 got in line behind us. They picked up a few things, but they kept putting stuff down, picking stuff up, putting it down. And then I noticed that one of them absolutely paid for nothing. The other one, he grabbed like some gum in a pack of candy. So then I told my daughter, I said, let's go down to the Subway thing because y'all know a lot of the Walmarts have a Subway inside the door. We go down to the Subway thing. We stand in line to order, what we was getting from Subway. 2 of them that were at the entrance at the other end, they stood in line behind us. When the guy gave us our food, they turned and walked out the line. They ordered nothing. They went out the door before us. So I alerted security to let them know that, hey, they had been following us through the store. I'm not feeling safe right now. Can someone walk me and my daughter to our car? So we went back to the far end entrance where we actually had come in at, where the clothing part at, it's a food entrance and then there's a clothing part. We went out that door. When we got in the parking lot, the guy noticed that security was walking us out. They noticed. They pulled off in 3 separate cars. They kind of pulled up the parking lot real slow. So we pulled further up the parking lot to go into 5 and below. We went into 5 and below. One of the same guys that was following us around in Walmart, he got out one of the vehicles that they were in, and he started following us around in the 5 and below. Every time he walked past me, he made eye contact. So the 3rd time he walked past me, I said, I'm glad I got my gun with me today. When I said that, he moved closer to the front entrance of the 5 and below. I noticed that there were 2 small young Black girls in there and they were making a purchase. They were in line behind me. And some said, don't leave them in the store by themselves. So I turned to the girls and I said, are y'all in here with y'all parents? And so the bigger girl looked like she probably maybe was like 12, 13 years old. Little bitty thing though. She said, no, we in here by ourselves. Our parents are in the parking lot in the car. Spirit kept saying, don't leave them in the store by themselves. Don't leave them in the store by themselves. So I decided to wait. It was a good thing that I waited. This was the scariest shit to me, y'all. So I waited. Just so happens the little girl was short 45 cents on whatever they were paying for. I gave her the 45 cents. I said, I'm going to walk y'all to the car. So I made my daughter get in the car and I locked the doors. And I walked the little girls to the car where their mom was sitting in. And so I told their mom, I said, hey, you can't do this anymore. I said, you see those group of foreigners that just left out of here and got in those 2 separate cars with that big white van? I said, they followed me and my daughter all around Walmart, and then they followed us down here. I said, they're looking for their next victim. This is a message to you Black mothers and y'all younger women that are shopping. If y'all little bitty thing like me, and y'all don't have weapons on y'all, be aware. This happened on 12 Mile and Van Dyke in, I think that's Warren city limits in Michigan. You women, be more vigilant. Pay attention to your surroundings when you're out in these shopping stores and you're shopping and you noticing a group of foreign men, and they're following you through the store and they're constantly making eye contact with you. Be alert security. Alert security. These motherfuckers was looking for their next victim. Thank God that my intuition picked up and I caught it, because it could have been me and my daughter, or it could have been those 2 little babies that was in the 5 and below that we went into. Be careful when y'all out here shopping. Don't be just shopping and on y'all cell phones and got y'all AirPods in y'all ears and y'all not paying attention to y'all surroundings. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. Us Black women and children, we are the last to be looked for. We are the last to make the news. We are the last ones they form search parties for. Be vigilant and pay attention to y'all surroundings. And if someone is following y'all through the store, and by the grace of God, we made it out safe, but we could have been their next victims. And when y'all come out the store to y'all cars, if there's any type of money on your windshield or in your door handle, do not touch it. Do not touch it. I am dead ass serious. My heart is still racing from this incident. Be careful, Black women. Be careful and stop letting y'all kids roam through these stores by themselves. They are not safe anymore. Human sex trafficking is real. It's real. And just like they snatching those kids, they are trying to snatch adult women, catching them by themselves too. It ain't no hell in the way them babies would have been able to fight off 6 grown men trying to kidnap them. Stop letting y'all kids walk up and down these streets by themselves, roam these stores by themselves. They are no longer safe. They snatching boys too. Please be careful when y'all out shopping.
Now that's a purpose PSA. That's a PSA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like what she did. I like what she did, right? I couldn't leave without playing that right there. What have we been talking about all this week? We've been talking about this all this week, ain't we?
Yep. We were talking about it when we were debating and all that. So yeah.
And not only, and she is right about Black women, Black children, they are the last one to be trying to search for. But at the same time, we gotta look. How many times you go? Sometimes you go out, right? How many times have you seen people looking down on their phone, not paying attention to what they're doing?
A lot.
I don't see it. They not paying attention to their surroundings. They're not paying attention to their surroundings. That was a PSA. You could tell in her voice. You could tell in her voice.
Yeah.
And you notice how
she was serious as a heart attack. She was serious as a heart attack.
And it was trembling.
Mm-hmm.
And she did what she did. She was shopping. And I like how her and her daughter communicated while they were in Walmart. I like how they communicated.
Mm-hmm.
Then she got security to walk into the car. Then go to 5 Below. And she had a pow with her. She wasn't playing.
Yep.
And I like how she waited on them 2 young girls to get them back to their mama.
Yeah. I don't know why some of these mamas are letting these kids run loose like that in the first daggone place.
In the store? No.
Anywhere.
Look, look at. I don't see. You heard me say I be coming to work and I see these young people out at 10, 9, 10, 8 o'clock at nighttime when they get home, and we wonder how kids come up missing.
You know those babies that be in them walkers when they're first learning how to walk,
Uh-huh.
and they put them in their walkers.
Mm-hmm.
A city away from here, I used to drive a city away from here, and these people are sitting on the porch and they got the baby, and I'm not joking when I say this, I'm not lying. I can put my hand on the Bible to tell you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. In a walker in the street, and they over there on the porch just chit-chatting.
Not paying attention. Not paying attention.
Paying no attention. You know how quick that child could have gotten picked up if it was a crazy man around? Yeah,
Yeah.
that part.
You know how quick that baby
And get hit in the car, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do not understand about parents these days.
Why do they even have them?
Some people do not deserve to have no kids.
Nope. They don't care for them. They don't need to have them.
You're right. And I'm thinking, wait a minute.
Your kids are your priority, damn it.
Now, if they gonna snatch up grown women and some grown men and put them in a van, whatever, what the world you think they're gonna do to the little boys, little girls?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say this, just like you said, if you see money on the windshield or your door handle, do not touch it. If you see any kind of foreign thing in your door handle or your windshield, do not touch it.
Neither one. If there's a bottle between your tire and your actual, I don't know what they call that part. I'm sorry, I would have to look it up. But basically, where the car, where the tire sits, huh?
The wheel well. That's what it
Yeah,
called.
that part, the wheel rail. That's it. That's exactly what it is. Anyway, so right there in that part, they will stick a bottle of water, and they're waiting for you to go over there and see it, and then go to try to jig at it, pull it out, and they right there behind you with chloroform or snatch your behind up and put you in that van. They always got that white van, the van with no windows.
Yep. I'm like this right here.
It happens, you guys. It happens.
Yeah, and don't be by yourself, ladies. Please don't be by yourself. If you got
and it's not just nighttime, y'all. It's daytime. They're doing this in the daytime. They getting really bold out there, and they're doing it in the daytime.
This is a public service announcement that we are doing, and I'm like this, ladies. Don't go out. If you go out and party with your group of friends, don't get too drunk. And don't get separated.
And make sure you got friends that are actually your friends, not somebody that's going to use you to go somewhere and then have you running out there by yourself. No, you need to have somebody that's your actual friend.
Yep. And
not no random female.
You right about that.
Hey, you want to go? Let's go out. Hey, let's go out. Oh, okay, let's go out. And then you get left out there while she's doing God knows what to with who, and then they come for you. The guys come for you. The girls, whoever, will come for you.
Yeah, and that was a good public service announcement right there, because it going on too much. I don't care what city you in. I don't care if it's a small town.
Yep, it don't matter. The city don't matter, not at all.
Because some of these young ladies, right? Some of these young ladies are gullible.
Period.
Because they watch your social media. Because this person got this person got that, and guess what? A man, somebody offer you this much money. Come on, get in the van, and it's a van. I don't care white, black, whatever it is. No windows. Don't do it.
Some of them are regular cars. They will put a gun, a pow next to in your side as you're walking, and they like, come on, let's go. Don't say a word. Don't do nothing. Don't make no moves. Just come with me, and they're gonna have it right there in your hip.
Yep.
Not your hip. I'm sorry, your side.
Yep.
And what you gonna do? You gonna move? You gonna get powed. You're gonna have to know how to fight that. Be able to pull it away from them, or get out of getting hit by that thing. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm like this right here. I think getting powed is better than getting taken.
Oh, I agree.
I
agree. I ain't going with you. I'm not going with you. We're gonna fight.
Yeah, we're gonna fight. Because my life, either way, my life gonna be over. And I'm ready to fight it.
Yep, we're gonna fight.
Yeah.
I'm not going nowhere with you. You're not gonna be graping me, none of that. I'd rather be I'd rather be unalive than to be graped.
Yeah. I'm like this right here. After we get through with these,
the best thing to do if you ain't got to go nowhere, stay your tails in the house. There's so much stuff going on out there. You got to stay safe in your own home.
And don't be going on these dating sites, these social media, and think this goes out to men and women, boys and girls.
Yep.
Because you know who you communicating with.
Yep.
If it looked too good to be true, it is. Isn't that
nowadays? Everything is too good to be true. Just saying.
Woo! This been a heck of 2 hours, ain't it?
Yep. Almost right at 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yep. It's good. It was good.
Yeah. Manipulation.
Sorry, some of it I wasn't 100% here because I was dealing with other stuff, but yeah.
Family come first, sister. My sister come first. Believe me, when they were playing, I was going to take care of what I had to take care of too.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. Be like, hold me down. I'll be right back.
But I'm telling you this right here. Got to love yourself. So you won't be manipulated by somebody.
Right.
The first story, the cousin got manipulated by the cousin's husband. Then the cousin got manipulated to help get rid of the body.
That's crazy as hell. I'm sorry to say, that's crazy.
Then the second
too
one,
much.
Yeah. Then the second one, I don't know that the son manipulated the wife or the wife manipulated the son. Or they both manipulated each other to sleep with each other. But she manipulated the lady that was Mike, right-hand lady.
She groomed him for that, for real.
Yeah. But he realized he did wrong, but guess what? She was too obsessed.
Yeah, it was too late from there.
So
she didn't even want him to have no females around. That's crazy. You are a full-grown woman. You're supposed to be his stepmama, not his girlfriend, his plaything, none of that. Like, you need to get you a life for real. Like, what kind of mess is that? That's crazy. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Manipulation.
Yeah, at its best.
And then another guy manipulated a 13, 16-year-old. Well, however they was when they met online, and manipulated another that was a freshman in college. So
that's horrible.
That is horrible. But I'm gonna read something to you right quick.
Go for it.
It's gonna make you laugh or make you do something. I don't know what you're gonna do. Then we're gonna get out.
Lord. It's gonna make me do something.
But it kind of I got to read this. Woman shares what her man said when she told him she was pregnant. She said this right here. I think I'm pregnant. I told you not to nut in me. we should have used a condom. Yeah, you should have used a condom. And this is what he said back, right? SMH. If y'all don't know what SMH is, shaking my head. Let me tell you some real ish. Out of all the women I dealt with, you are the most kind-hearted and smartest one. You have your itch together like no other. Now, normally, I will pull out, but something heavy on my heart said not to. I see something in you that you probably don't see in yourself. I know you will make a great single mother, and that's why I did what I did. You got this. Pass to you and your family.
You got to be joking me. You got to be joking me.
No, I'm not joking you.
Oh my God. Hey, that's, oh my God. He seriously said he did that because he thinks she's going to be a great single mother, not a great wife, but a single mother.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
He manipulated her, right? That what it seemed like, right? He manipulated her.
First of all, she should have vetted his behind. He needed to be vetted for real. Because, like, how you gonna go and tell somebody? He got the goal and the balls and the nuts. He said, "I thought you'd be a great single mother, so I went ahead and did what I did." Like, that doesn't make any sense. You didn't say a great wife, a great partner, but a great single mother. Oh my God, what is wrong with him?
But you know what? I can't put all the blame on him either.
Well, she shouldn't have slept with him.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you should have made it put him in the condom. So
she should have vetted him. Yeah. Wow. These people is crazy out here in the streets. I'm serious. They cray.
Hey, but what he wrote, what he
wrote
to her is kind of funny. Oh, you smart and whatever. No, she wasn't that smart because she was smart. She would have slept with you. If she was that smart, she would have. Yeah, she would have put you in the condom.
She would have vetted you first.
Yeah.
Good Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. That mean, hey.
I can't with some of these doggone people. I can't help them at all.
They can't help themselves.
That's just a case of you dumb as hell.
I told you might make you laugh at something else, didn't I?
Yeah, that's like Dumb and Dumber together right there.
What the world did she thought he was gonna say?
I'm not gonna even sit there. I don't know what she thought he was gonna say, but I know one thing. How about he got something and you over there letting him, freestyle with you, if you know what I mean?
Lord have mercy. I guess we'll close out on that note. Let that marinate on y'all. Ladies, be careful. If you're gonna go do the do, make sure the dude is strapped up. Cause he looked good. He talked nice. He bought you drinks and all that stuff. Hey, you lay down with him, you get knocked up. Guess what?
You make your bed, you lay in it.
There you go. Cause you might be wind up being a single mother. Got any final words and thoughts? You knew.
Yeah, ladies, get some brains if you're thinking like that. I mean, not brains. Men, I'm talking about. Sorry, men, get some brains if you're thinking like that. That's crazy that he would even think that way. Oh yeah, hey, I knocked you up just because I think you're gonna be a great single mother. Not anything but a single mother. Like that. Just oh my God, I'm dumbfounded with this. Like, what the heck? I don't even know how to answer that question.
Look, you
Oh,
tongue tied.
my Lord.
You tongue tied on that
Tongue
one, huh?
tied?
Yeah.
Tongue tied ain't it. Tongue tied ain't it. I'm telling you, I'm dumbfounded by this. Like, I don't even know what to say.
When
That's
I
crazy.
look, when I seen that, I had to save it. Like, wait a minute, hold up. And then guess what? Before I read it, before I even went live, I had to read it 4 times to make sure I read what I read.
Right.
You make a great single mother.
I cannot with some of these damn men and women. Oh my God. I cannot with them.
And then she had the nerve to say, I thought you weren't gonna none of me. Thought you were gonna pull out and you should have worn a condom. Damn, did you think about that beforehand?
Oh my God. I cannot with these people. That couple right there belong together. I'm sorry to say they belong together. Both Dumb and Dumber. Perfect couple. Oh my God.
Hey, look at that's a good laugh, but think about it.
Dumb and Dumber.
It's really not funny because she gonna be a single mother.
Funny but not funny. And
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber. That's all I gotta say. Dumb and Dumber. Oh my God. That's like Martin and Gina, like, you know, on the show. That's just like Martin and Gina doing the same thing, just met, and then they go and do, and then then he tells her, "Hey, I'm sorry, I know you because I think you're gonna be a great single mom." Boy, Gina will whip his butt. I'll show you single mom.
But I'm like, they manipulated each other. But I say he got the best of both worlds. I hope she know what his name is, his real name is. So
she got his social security number so she can get that doggone money for that child that he done laid in her.
Anything else you do?
I just hope she didn't get pregnant. That's all I gotta say. That's crazy as heck. Huh?
Anything else? Cause we gotta go out. Hey, we had to go out on this laugh right here.
That's it. I'm sorry, y'all. This is just, I'm dumbfounded. That's all I can say.
See,
you could finish it now. You could end it now because I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, what else am I gonna say?
Look, I hope you ain't gonna be thinking about this all night.
Oh no, I'm gonna lay my head down and be like, I'm good. I'm with 37 years. I'm good.
Yeah. But like I said,
Lord have mercy.
Women and men love to respect yourself. Because when you respect yourself and love yourself, you can see through all the BS. I guess some of them folks that we talked about tonight they love and respect themselves because they see through the BS, didn't they?
They didn't see through the BS, the ES, the TS, the PS, none of them S's, okay?
Yeah.
This is just crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh my God.
And they didn't love themselves. Hey, they didn't love themselves because self-love is the best love because you love yourself. Sometimes, all the time, if you love yourself like you should love yourself, you can't be manipulated.
Period.
And that's all I got to say.
Thank you for coming, y'all. I'm sorry. I just can't. I'm done with these people.
Anything, hey, say your, go ahead and say your line. Go ahead and say your line. They got to go. They got to, what?
My thoughts, my opinion. And he's gonna make me say it, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. This is not personal, but you ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get up here. Bye.